Now, some are calling for comedian Bill Maher to be fired for his use of a racial slur live on his show. Maher was interviewing Senator Ben Sasse during HBO's Real Time on Friday when Maher used the N-word. Maher has since apologized, but that did not stop the backlash. Al Sharpton calls Maher a friend, but says he still shouldn't have used that word. Sharpton also calls on people in the African-American community to stop using the word.
Now, all of us have used the word. I've used the word. Somebody once said, I used to hear him say, I told you I said it. You ain't got to reveal it. I reveal myself. And I said that we all need to stop it.
So Maher apologized, and HBO called his remarks inexcusable and tasteless, but didn't say if he was going to be reprimanded. Now, this is obviously not the first time that Bill Maher has gotten in trouble for something he said. So what do we think about this new case?
He apologized, as well he should have. I doubt HBO will fire him over this. His show's very profitable. That said, it is never, ever okay for a white person to use that word, especially on television.
How about a black person?
I don't think that any white person should ever use that word.
I agree.
It's uniquely offensive to African Americans, and it is emblematic of the just horrific history of slavery in this country. That's why it's such an unusable word. And I would say, too, you pointed out that this isn't the first time he's gotten in trouble. Well, back in 2002, Maher hosted a show on ABC called Politically Incorrect, and he railed against political incorrectness even then. And he was fired off that show after September 11th when he said that he disagreed with people that were calling the 9/11 terrorists cowards. He said they weren't cowards because they had the guts to fly those planes into those buildings.
Oh, wow.
And he was fired for saying that. So Maher has a long history of making inflammatory remarks that have gotten him in trouble. You know, and you said, you know, what about African Americans using that word? I just don't think that's a valid argument. I think that when you take into account the racial history in this country and the systematic oppression of African Americans for centuries, just don't use the word. It's so incredibly hurtful.
See, I don't think anyone should use that word. I don't care what color you are. I don't think anyone should use that word for any reason. There's plenty of other ways to describe situations or people. That's not it. I think you need to take that vocabulary out of your, out of your mouth. Just forget it. But I found offense too. Joy Behar this morning was on The View, and she was talking about this whole circumstance, and she was saying that she gives him a hall pass. She thinks that he should be able to say this and gives him a hall pass because comedians are off the table for making comments like this. They shouldn't have to have any repercussions.
Routine.
But a show is a comedy show. I watched it on Friday night. You guys know where my political, stance is, but I enjoy watching him. I always watch, opposing sides because I want to see where people are coming from. I watched it on Friday night. I mean, my mouth hit the floor whenever he said that. I went, whoa. And I didn't think there were going to be repercussions. I wasn't thinking that way immediately, but I did think, wow, that caught me off guard. And I didn't think that was tasteful. Because like I said, I don't think anyone should use that word.
Agree.
But with that said, with Joy actually taking up for him and saying that Joy was saying that Kathy Griffin and both Bill Maher should be left alone, and they should have a hall pass strictly because they are the good guys right now. They are the two good guys that are on the offense for the Trump administration. So she was giving them a hall pass strictly because of where their politics lie. I don't think that was fair at all. I don't think that she should have stepped into that boundary. This had nothing to do with politics. This didn't have anything to anything with his character or anything to do with anything else except for the use of the word, which I think was derogatory and he shouldn't have used.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and it's so hard to, I wish Henny was here because she specifically said last week, I don't remember what we were talking about, but she specifically said she wishes the African-American community would stop using that word because it's become so it's like everyday speak for a lot of people. Like it's used so interchangeably. You use it when you're making fun of someone. You use it to talk to your friend. And so if a word is that confusing for so many different groups of people, why are we even using it?
But it's also laced within the music, right, as well, which is also confusing. And there's a younger generation. But if something really, as you mentioned, right, thematically is so offensive, then
What's the point?
Why do that?
Yeah, don't agitate the situation, for sure. Yeah. All right, well, moving on to a different kind of controversy. Though the Golden State Warriors remain perfect in the NBA Finals, the way Steph Curry took a break was, it was upsetting a lot of people. Look at this. Late in the game last night in Game 2, with about 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter, Curry decided just to lay down on the floor by his team's bench, put a towel over his head, and take a little cat nap. And many people on Twitter really thought that this was a sign of disrespect, and they were not happy about this. So, who watched the NBA Finals last night?
I bet Donna did.
I did. I watched every minute of it. I did see Curry laying on the ground. I did not think one thing of it. I thought, you know what? Maybe he's got his. First of all, he played unbelievable, right? At a level that we have not seen. And at one point, one of the announcers said between him and Kevin Durant, best two ever.
Really?
He said, you heard me say, ever to play. And LeBron's on the floor.
The one that we've called the king for the last however many years.
I mean, listen, LeBron's amazing, but I'm just saying, maybe his back hurt him. But, you know, he's looking out. He can see. Maybe
Do you
the
think
bench
people
was
are making
full.
too much out of it?
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, you know what? Listen, there's haters everywhere. That's right. The internet gives you the good and it gives you the bad. I was shocked to see this. Right? This is a great kid and a great player who has just been playing his. Yes, he's just playing great, and probably just needed a little break, a little bit of a rest, and he was going to go back in. I mean, the guy had a triple-double. It's the second time in NBA history, that two players had a triple-double.
What's a triple-double?
I knew that you would ask.
What is that?
All right,
I'm glad you asked it because I was thinking the exact same thing.
What's that?
This is good for all our fans. He scored 32 points. He had 11 assists, and he had 10 rebounds. So those are three critical statistics of performance, right? One, those are the points he scored himself. One, he helped other people score, and then the other were rebounds, which helps you with possession of the ball.
When you were playing, did you ever just feel like, I need a minute? When you were playing basketball?
I just wanted to play one more minute, but yes, when you were playing at that intensity level, which, you know, if you could hear, right, the intensity level in the building, what's at stake. This is a revenge match as well, right? They lost last year up 3-1. Yeah. You know, and he said after the game, you leave everything on the floor. God, what an exhilarating feeling, right? So, like, yeah, sure.
So you leave everything, even yourself on the floor. Exactly. But the people saying that it's almost like bad sportsmanship, it's like dissecting it. Do you think there's any merit to that?
Listen, I want to say this. You watch teams, and you know the good teams, you can see their chemistry, how they gel. I thought last year Cleveland was going to come back because they had been around the team a little bit, and I thought they had that, whatever that factor is. If you watch the Warriors, how they talk to each other, how they play with each other, how they pass the ball to each other, Kevin Durant, first and foremost, his teammates are not looking at him saying, oh, what a bad sport. They're saying, give the kid a rest. We need you in another 30 seconds. No. This is one of the tightest, most synced units of teamwork that I have seen.
They are really fluid. Cool. That's why my boyfriend hates the Warriors, but he loves watching them play because they are so good.
They are so good.
They're so good. They're a team that you love to hate, but you got to give them the
credit. And they are not the team they were that last year. They are a different team this year because, I mean, where else do you get to pick up one of the top three players in all of basketball in Kevin Durant?
They're a lot of fun to watch. Angelia, you can watch the rest of the finals with me, and I'll explain to you what's going on.
Explain to me what's going on.
All right, well, on